I put shoes on when I'm in work mode. I take shoes off when I'm in home mode.
I'm messing this up. Hey, I'm Marty Smiley, and this is How Are You? A series brought to you by Kids Helpline. Today's episode is about staying connected, which has been pretty hard while we've been in isolation. So we want to find out a bit more about what it has had an impact on, and I thought the perfect person to talk to about that would be Nic Kelly. He is a digital native, he lives regionally, so staying connected has been something that's been pretty important to him. He started his own website, he works in radio. How you doing, Nic?
Real good, Marty. Thanks for having me on. It's exciting.
How important has it been to you to stay connected online, and has that changed since isolation set in?
My whole life, I've been confiding in online communities and connecting to like-minded people through online communities. I think even when I was younger, I didn't have many friends. I didn't have much of a sort of support network around me when I was really young, like a 10 to 15 kind of age. So I had confided in online communities then. That kind of spiraled into my kind of coming out experience, and I came out on Tumblr before I came out to any of my family and friends. I think my connection to using digital platforms and using social media to connect has been stuck in me for a very long time.
On top of that, I guess the other thing we saw in a lot of Facebook groups and online really was the spread of misinformation. Is there a tool you use? Is there something you do to make sure that the information you're receiving, essentially what you're seeing, is facts versus fiction?
I've always been a massive news junkie. My psychologist told me the other week that I need to stop watching Donald Trump press conferences before bed, that's apparently not good for me. And I think I've just got a sort of sixth sense, as a lot of people who are tapped into the news cycle do, of what is legitimate and needs to be, considered and what's not. Opinion's important, but when you're talking about a virus and you're talking about a pandemic, opinion needs to be put to the side for a little while.
The line between working from home and your personal life has been blurred. How are you managing that?
I've got the blessing of purposely having rented a place that has a spare room that I can consider my office, my studio, my workspace, and I am so diligent in making sure that those lines aren't crossed.
How has it changed the way you communicate? Have you been able to spend time with your mum?
No, and that's been really shit, to be honest. My mum, actually, who's been in a pretty significant period of isolation with my nan, who's nearing 90. So her, my dad, my mum, my brother have been in proper quarantine for a long time. We don't get that opportunity to give her a big cuddle and say thank you and say how proud we are of what she's doing and the sacrifice she's making and the family's making to look after my nan. I just want to give her a hug. At the end of the day, I really just want to give her a hug.
For people who maybe don't know how to use some of these devices as well, aren't connected to the internet, or simply don't really like doing it that way, what do you say to those people?
I think for those people, it's just trying to normalize their lives as much as humanly possible. So, finding those consistent things they can do on a daily basis to look after themselves and give themselves that self-care. The whole world has been in a state of grief for the last 2 or 3 months. We're grieving the loss of what we call normality. I look at someone like my sister, who I've been living with. She kind of works odd jobs here and there while she's, waiting to move overseas again. After losing a job that was happening for her in Barcelona, and she kind of isn't able to get the balance right at the moment. I know I'm in a really privileged position from that perspective.
Thanks so much for coming on the show. If anything stood out from today's episode that you want to find out more information about, head to kidshelpline.com.au, or if something came up for you, then reach out on web chat, on email, or you can give them a call, 1-800 55 1800 for any time, any reason. Now, in our next episode, we are going to be talking about another important issue. It's body image. Peace.